Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Chris Wright. I'm a landscape photographer working out of Granada, Spain. Now this week I spent some time in the Alpujarras up in the famous Wright villages, and I thought I'd use a couple of those shots to illustrate a point that I want to make regarding colour grading. Now what we're going to be dealing with in this video is particularly the use of hue, saturation and luminance, and because this is a facility that almost every platform has, so DxO PhotoLab, Affinity, Photoshop, Lightroom, etc. I thought I'd demonstrate it using DxO PhotoLab in this case. The principles are exactly the same across all of the applications. DxO PhotoLab, some applications break out the color channels separately into something like a channel mixer, but DxO PhotoLab has channels in the same interface, in the same tool as the color wheel. So if you followed the other videos in this series, you'll know that we've gone to great lengths to separate the colour from the light, because manipulating the light, and I'll just go over those principles again, but manipulating the light on its own, exposure, has an effect on the intensity of the colours, the saturation. So what we're trying to do here is to, for the benefit of getting purer representation, of getting the correct colours, we're separating hue, saturation and luminance, and this is absolutely standard across this particular tool. Okay, let's get stuck in with a few images. This is one of the raw files from a village called Boubion in the high Alpujarras. This is very high up. It's a lot colder than it is at sea level. But you can see from the raw file here, we've got a lot of cloud in the sky. That's snow clouds, basically. But we've also got a real dappled effect of the sun getting through gaps in the clouds. So this area here, this area here, these trees are nicely lit up. You can see the direction of the light is coming from over here. These shadows tell us that. And so what we want to do is to take advantage of this really clear mountain light and take advantage of the dappling effect to demonstrate how important luminance, hue and saturation are to giving our photographs a sense of drama and a sense of depth. Okay, so let's get to work on this. So first thing I'm going to do is just apply the optical corrections preset. Okay, so that's good. And now I want to keep my highlights up because they're not clipping, or are they? Let's have a look. They are clipping ever so slightly, so let's just take these down until those red marks go away. Okay, that's pretty much exactly right. Okay, now let's add a bit of contrast, and we'll do this, I always do this with the tone curve. And the reason I do it with the tone curve is because it gives me a better response. So if I take this down here, this up there, and now what we want to do is to bring in our light and shade. We want to accentuate what's going on here, so we can add, actually, because this is already in the picture, we can add a bit of global contrast. So that's nice. Okay, I'm going to take this down, take these shadows down a bit further, leave that as is. Okay, so now this is beginning to look quite good, and you can see very clearly that we're getting these oranges. We've done nothing with the saturation or the luminance, but these oranges are now beginning to stand out, and you can see them here on the mountain as well as here, here, and here. So we're making progress. This is now beginning to look, it's got a real, beginning to get that sense of drama, and it's beginning to look as though it's quite a lot of depth. We've got a lovely leading line taking us right into the center here, and this tree is a real focal point. So let's get down to let's go into the colour, and I don't think we're going to have to do anything particularly sophisticated with this. Right, so if I choose the oranges, I just want to narrow this a little bit, so exactly that shade of orange. It's quite saturated, so if I increase the luminance a little, that really makes it start to stand out. Yep, so you can see it here and here and here is really being brought out. And this is really helping the sort of three-dimensionality of the picture. So there's our original without. If I just turn off that warning, so the original is slightly blown out. But look at the difference. That looks so flat, and this looks really increasingly rich as we go on. I think we've almost got this now. I think I might just make the range of this ever so slightly tighter. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, these oranges are now beginning to stand out nicely. But we could see from looking at this picture that the oranges were getting good side light on them. And here that's shown up. Now let's have a look and see if there's anything else that we might want to do here. No, I think that's fine for that picture. I'm going to leave this one here. That's before, that one is after. So this has really all been done with Luminance. We've adjusted exposure, we've adjusted highlights. Let's have a look at the active things. We've had a look at the orange in the colour wheel. And with our tones, we've reduced the highlights to pull the sky down, basically, and get that sort of threatening look here. We've done nothing with the midtones. We've used contrast because it was already in the picture, and this is a key point. Contrast is a global adjustment, and it will hit every single pixel. So if you don't have very much contrast in the picture, you're far better off using the tone curve to achieve it. Where there is a lot of contrast in the picture, a slight tweak on the contrast slider will actually work quite well. If we use the micro contrast, that's going to bring out a little bit more detail. It's basically going to make it a little bit sharper. And I think that's fine. There we go, and there we go. Perfect. Okay, let's leave that one here. Here's our second picture. This is taken in more or less the same place, but let's quickly rattle through this. So what are the things that we want to achieve with this? Well, we've already got quite a lot of contrast. We can see that if we look at the sky, we can see the nature of it. There's a lot of blue sky that you can see through the clouds. So we're getting areas that are very well lit. So again, what we want to do is to make the most of that, and we want to bring the viewer's eye into here rather than into there. At the moment I feel that it's aiming for this spot right in the middle. So first thing to do is to straighten the horizon. I think that's more or less it. That'll do for the demo anyway. Okay, so again, we've got a bit of natural contrast. So the first thing I would do is have a look and see. I've got no problem with the exposure of it. It's nicely exposed. We've got a little bit of headroom, darks and lights. So if we go for global contrast, let's have a look and see what happens. So, okay, so it's not altogether successful, right? It shows us the potential, because what we've got here, if we yank this right over to the right-hand side, it's bringing out this tree here, which is what we wanted to do. This one is nicely lit up, and I think arguably we could argue that we're getting into the zone of where we want to be. However, what we really want is for that middle section to remain sort of really lit like so, but the front section to come up like that. Now, what you'll notice with the global contrast as well is that it substantially alters the hue and luminosity in the scene. So these oranges here are much darker than those oranges there, and this is, you know, one of the issues that I have with global alteration. So let's take it down here a bit. We have some basic stuff here. We'll take those down and we'll push those up ever so slightly. We've not done a massive amount here. Okay, so what I'm going to use here is in fact going to be, because it's this area that I want to bring our attention to, so I think the answer here is a good old-fashioned control point. Put it right there, bring it out to there, okay, and I'm going to go to the HSL wheel here, and let's just saturate that a little bit and bring up the luminance, and you see we're catching the, now that's quite nice, and that is quite natural looking. Let's close that down and let's have a look at unfortunately it's showing us the horizon correction, but I think what we're seeing is we're getting this sense of depth and drama back. Now, what I would do though is crop it ever so slightly, because what's happening down here we don't really care about. It's this area that we care about. So back to the crop. And I want to invoke the tool and do this manually. Probably go for a 16:9 crop. And I think that works quite well. Yeah, that's by far the best one. Okay, so let's just have another look here. I'd quite like to bring the whites out up here. So I want to bring in a control line to just drop that top area there. So bring that in from the top. Okay, and just bring it nearer that's going to be, the more that's going to be. Okay. Okay, so we're just dropping the light a little up there as we've got an impending snowstorm, and that's worked quite well. Close that off and have a look at the original. Okay, so that's really it. We've got two different variations here, but we can see how by emphasizing color and emphasizing light, we can introduce a lot of depth and a lot of drama into the picture. Okay, I'm just going to drop the value of that a little bit. So that was that one. Let's see what the settings were for that. We did that all with the HSL wheel. I'll just drop that ever so slightly, and I think that's fine. Yeah, for me, that works perfectly. Okay guys, so that's really it. The point of this demonstration was to really bring out the fact that we're looking at hue, saturation and luminance as the primary movers for bringing drama and bringing depth into colour photographs. Okay, so two examples, both of them very recent photographs, both of them taken right from the beginning all the way through the process. So hope that's been useful. If it has, give us a tick down below and subscribe to the channel. And next week I think we're going to probably be doing a video on colour theory. A few people have asked for that. And how that works within a picture, and we'll be moving back to Affinity Photo to demonstrate that, or as the source of demonstration, because colour theory affects how we draw all the colours together in a photograph, and we're going to have a close look at that. All right guys, see you next week. Thanks very much. Now, bye now.